Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about astrology and eye issues, disorders, and anyway, just going to give you some basics on this, fundamentals, and might talk more extensively about this in a future video. But anyway, well, first thing about astrology and the eyes, okay, the sun and the moon rule the eyes, and depending on gender, I mean the sun rules one eye, the moon rules the other, and depending on gender, that depends on which one is connected with which eye. Now, for males, the sun is connected with the right eye, the moon is the left eye, and for females, it's the opposite. The sun is connected with the left eye in females, and the moon is the right eye for females. So anyway, and also Mercury is connected with eyesight in general. I thought it was interesting. Now, naturally, I mean, if somebody has like the sun and or the moon in their chart strongly afflicted, or you have like the 12th house limitations involved, or even the 6th house of health, this could increase a greater propensity for some eye issues and disorders, I would say. Interestingly enough, I see two fairly, I mean, these are renowned people and people that are really two famous blind people. One Ray Charles and the other Stevie Wonder. Interestingly enough, their Mercuries were both retrograde, and Mercury is connected with eyesight. And also Ray Charles, depending on time of birth, may have had his sun at 29 degrees of Virgo, and 29 degrees, of course, a critical degree, and you have something at 20. The sun could be connected with the physical body, I would say, to some degree, not as much. The ascendant is the more dominant part or proponent in a chart connected with this, but the sun can as well to some degree, and the sun also, of course, is connected with one of the eyes anyway. But the thing about it is that looking at this one, and Stevie Wonder, again, he had his Mercury retrograde. Now, he also had his sun, if I remember, in Taurus at 22 degrees, a critical degree, and I don't know if this could have played a role in it, but it would not surprise if that could have played some role to some degree in that. And it is 22 degrees is a critical degree, of course, in astrology, and the sun is connected with one of the eyes. And interestingly enough, when Ray Charles began, he actually didn't. I don't believe he was born blind. It was more of a gradual dissipation of the eyesight. When he was like 7 years old, he wasn't able to see at all. But there was a gradual onset where he began to get glaucoma, and his eyesight gradually began to dissipate. Now, at the time when he lost his vision completely, I don't know the precise date on this, but transit Neptune, I don't think was that far from his sun, and even if it was within 10 degrees, we don't know. I mean, I understand when we're talking about transits and conjunctions, we're looking at like 2 degrees or something, or 3 degrees, depending on whether it's an outer or inner planet and what's applying. But it doesn't mean that something at 10 degrees away, we don't necessarily feel it. I think it's possible that he could have been receiving a vibration from, the Neptune might have played some role in this as far as Ray Charles goes. But the thing about this is also too, I mean, certain conjunctions, like with the sun or the moon, I think can play a role in some issue as well, as far as the astrology and as far as eye issues may go. I mean, I had a prominent family member has her Black Moon Lilith fairly close proximity to her natal sun in Scorpio, and she told me that she has night blindness. And look at Black Moon Lilith energy. Some people don't see it as overly significant in a natal chart, but the thing about it is it can, I think it still could be pretty strong. And Black Moon, I see this as something like darkened energy. So I can understand that this may have played some role in her issues with her eyes, but she also has in her chart, interestingly enough, she has her moon, of course, that rules one of the eyes, and making an opposition to her ascendant, the physical body, the moon in Capricorn at 26 degrees at a critical degree in its sign of detriment in Capricorn from the sixth house of health. So it's not surprising to me that she had some eye issues. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you maybe have to verify this, but to confirm this, but there was a football player named Wesley Walker who played for the New York Jets. I remember him at least in the early 1980s playing, and he was, if I remember correctly, diagnosed as legally blind. And the thing about it is, I thought was interesting. In his sun was in Gemini, but his Mercury was like in late Gemini, and his South Node was conjunct his Mercury. Again, the Mercury can be about eyesight. And when you have the South Node like by Mercury, or even if it was like by the Sun or the Moon, I think it can increase some proclivity towards some eye issues and disorders, because the South Node is like what we're going away from. It's about more or less, it's really about going into something where, I mean, the North Node, like when you have the North Node, say, you have it conjunct, the North Node, say, for example, is conjunct one's ascendant, one's natal chart. And I notice that people can be a lot taller than perhaps otherwise indicated. And if somebody has the South Node by their ascendant, they could be a little shorter. The South Node by one, say if it's Mercury, or it's by, say, the Moon or the Sun, it could be a little bit less of something associated with it. That's how I would say it. And the thing about it is, Wesley Walker has his, in his chart, he has the South Node in Gemini conjunct his Mercury in Gemini. So, and he did have limited vision, if I remember that right. Now, you want to check on that, but I do believe he was diagnosed as being legally blind, and he still was a fairly prolific wide receiver on top of that. I guess Gemini people just don't let a lot of things get them down. They have their very spirit, and he has that, probably had very strong, vivacious, spirited energy, being a sun in Gemini. But anyway, that being said, I mean, there are, obviously, I mean, the sun or the moon in one's 12th house, I think, could be an indicator of possible eye issues. And of course, Mercury retrograde can be one as well, because Mercury about eyesight. If you have it retrograde, you're going in the other direction. I'm sure many people that have Mercury retrograde do have the eye issues. You look at very extreme examples, again, going back to Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, both Mercury retrograde. They both had, very obviously, being blind, of course, very tremendous eye-related issues. Now, of course, transits can play a role as well. I mean, somebody having transit Pluto hitting their moon or Mercury or Sun, I think, can play a role in this as well. Remember that Pluto, unlike Saturn, Pluto can be about obliteration and destruction, where Saturn will restrict. Pluto can simply end. So it's an important time. Somebody, even if your vision is good, people, and if you're having, transit Saturn or Pluto, making contact with the sun or your moon or even your Mercury, or even, I mean, or even making an adverse aspect to it by transit, it could be a time to get, make sure you have your vision checked. I mean, people need to have that checked periodically, or at least consistently anyway, but it might be even a greater time where you may need to do so when you're experiencing one of these trends. Again, another example, Mercury in the 12th house could maybe give some issues as far as the eye may go as well, again, because Mercury can be connected with one's eyesight. So, and the thing, too, is, people, we always have to look at some other things as well. I mean, remember that astrology is not everything, that things can be genetic as well. And if you're, if you have a history of eye-related issues, and even if you look at your chart and it says, well, My chart looks like it's pretty auspicious as far as any possible eye-related issues go. It still may be a time, it might be something where, I mean, you still might have some eye issues, but you might be maybe in a little better shape than the people that were before you in your family tree. Also, too, another thing to look at, I would say the sun adversarial, means sun adverse aspect to the ascendant and or the moon in adverse aspect to the ascendant, even Mercury as well, making a negative aspect to one's ascendant can be indicators as well of possible eye-related issues, because you're talking about the sun and the moon, the left or the right eye, depending on gender. Mercury, again, is eyesight. If it makes an adverse aspect to one's ascendant, the ascendant is the physical body. So those are some things, I mean, you can look at as far as possible eye-related issues in terms of one's natal chart. And I would also say the sun or the moon or even Mercury intercepted can cause some issues, or some suppression, being as far as your eyesight goes, might be limited as well. Anyway, people, this is Edwin Learnard. Until next time, stay well.